everyone, my name is Antonia, this is PerryPictures, and today we are going to be talking about the Webtoon 2025 contest and how to stay motivated. I do have my cheat sheet here, so I might do a little bit of checking or reading from this as we go.
What has been the hardest part of entering the contest for you so far?
The guilt surrounding the family making sacrifices for us as creators. And what I mean by that is when you have a comic creator in your home, you are sacrificing time spent together so that they can work in isolation on their comics. This goes especially for those creators with full-time careers. Giving up family time to draw is really challenging. So one of the things that I definitely did going into this contest, knowing what I wanted to create and deciding it was finally time to create it, was have that conversation with my spouse and to really discuss the time commitment that I was going to have to put into it in order to create something that is competitive and hopefully something that will really demonstrate my capabilities as a creator and really resonate with readers.
What specific things have helped you stay motivated when you felt stuck?
Definitely snacks. I use those as an incentive at my desk, and this keeps me from wandering into the kitchen and poking my head into the fridge again and again, knowing full well that I have no intention of cooking anything. It just becomes a distraction, and while I do think it's important to stand up and walk around and stretch out and not be shrimping at your desk for 8 to 10 hours a day, I would like those walks to be a little bit more intentional and not just me wandering off because I'm feeling peckish. But snacks aside, my two biggest motivators are going to be seeing my colorist updates and reading other comics, and I can explain. When it comes to seeing my colorist updates, it's really rewarding to see Love Cursed Queen of Rogues come to life in full-fledged, vibrant colors. It really feels finished when I can see it with that pop of color, and that keeps me motivated to draw the next scene or the next chapter in the next part. The other thing is reading other webtoons, and this is really important for when I just don't have interest in drawing anymore. My panels maybe are starting to become a little stale. When I catch myself in that headspace, I like to go and read other people's comics because most likely at that point I am just overworked. And I think that sometimes being a consumer of other people's content, enjoying the reader experience helps me remember why I'm creating the comic in the first place. And so if I as a reader can enjoy somebody else's comic, that reminds me that my comic work is not in vain, and that there will be other readers out there to enjoy mine, and that helps me get back on track.
Do you have any small rewards or rituals that you do when you finish a page, chapter, or big milestone?
4 pages, my big celebratory moment is sending them off to the colorist each time I finish a page or a noodle or a sheet, however you want to call it in the Webtoon template world. I celebrate by sharing it with my colorist. I can't really share it with everybody because it's not finished, but I definitely feel a strong compulsion to share it with someone. I want somebody to see the work. I'm very proud of it. I'm very excited. And so sending it to my colorist is really rewarding in that way. And then of course, there's always the fact that it's like, okay, I'm done with my part. It's yours now. And sort of passing the baton is a little bit of a relief too. The other thing is when I finish a chapter or a big milestone. And so for those, I like to celebrate with giving myself time off. I will allow myself a day or two post chapter completion or post big milestone completion to just kind of like let it sit and stew, and sometimes even visually just checking, re-looking at what I created. Am I satisfied with this? Did I hit the mark with this? Is this what I really wanted? And if after a day or two I'm like, yes, absolutely, I love this, I'm really, really happy with it, then I can move on to making the next thing. But just giving yourself that time to rest, to breathe, to refresh your eyes, and to look at it brand new. I feel it's restful. It's nice to take some time off and to just kind of bask in completion of that section that you've completed. But also it allows you to kind of catch your mistakes, because if we draw too fast oftentimes we won't catch mistakes until we're finished. So taking those breathers allows you to catch your mistakes before you publish.
Have you ever considered quitting or felt like you might not make the deadline? If so, what pulled you back in?
In order to answer this question, I do have to do a little bit of a backstory. I started drawing on Webtoon during the pandemic, right before work from home became common, and during that time I was doing 13-hour days for my career because I had a 5-hour commute on top of my 8-hour workday. It was a lot, and the only way I really had the energy to do webtoons was if I reserved my weekends for creating. And so one of the things that I did during that time was establish a style that allowed me to do a lot of shortcuts, that allowed me to simplify a lot of my workload so that I could create an entire chapter in 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, and then post every week. And interestingly enough, COVID happened and I lost my job, which freed up a lot more time, but then there was this whole snowball effect. It made it really too overwhelming to keep drawing, but quitting didn't sit right with me. After about a year, I came back and returned to creating. So again, it became very much this weekend kind of hobby. Now sitting here at 2025, preparing to enter this contest, the job market is once again turbulent, and the job that I've held for the last 4 years, I just lost. And so I do feel like this is kind of a full circle moment for me, and quitting the contest hasn't really crossed my mind because I feel like I've definitely already been there and done that. And there's nothing wrong with it if it does cross yours. Life happens, and if you're finding yourself in those circumstances and you need to walk away because you have more immediate needs, I want you to feel empowered to do so. You can always come back.
What made you enter in the first place?
This is a very straightforward question. I have a very straightforward answer to this question. Getting a contract that pays me to create comics is my primary motivator. Literally after I published chapter 1 of my contest entry to the platform, I then lost my job. So I'm hoping to make it far enough in the contest to be one of the people sitting in the seats that get those contracts. And the reason why that is so important to me, even though I could just get another job doing something else, I could return to the same industry, do another production job, which is what I do. I work in entertainment. But I would much prefer to be able to focus 100% of my energy into creating comics. I've always felt very passionate about doing arts, as I'm sure most of you probably are as well. And I just really am focused on that as my shining light, my guiding star. I would like my primary work, my day job, all of my hours, all of my energy to be focused on this, on creating comics.
Have you learned any mindset shifts that are helping you keep going?
Okay, so the biggest one for me right now is setting bite-sized goals. I don't really think too much or worry too much about how much work this is going to take in totality. I'm more concerned about how much work needs to get done this week. And if I'm missing my quotas, like if I have a day where I just can't do it, I had too much stuff come up in real life, I think it's okay to rest. So if you're missing a quota, if you're like, every day I need to draw 2 panels in order to hit my deadline for this chapter or something like that. If you have a day where you don't draw panels because maybe you had to make a vet visit or a doctor's visit, anything, it could be anything that would disrupt you from meeting your daily quota, what I do is I just tack on whatever that number is that I missed to the weekend. And I know like in the weekend, I can usually exceed my quota. And so I'm okay with that, and I don't let it stress me out for the rest of the week. If I miss my quota on a Tuesday, my 2 panels that I am supposed to draw every day, I am not trying to shove those panels into Wednesday, into Thursday, into Friday, because I don't gain any extra free time on those days that I didn't already have. And I don't focus on it at all during the rest of the week. I let it go, and I just focus on doing the panels that I needed to do Wednesday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday I can address any excess that needs to carry over that was missed throughout the week. Highly recommend that because stress is heavy, anxiety is heavy. We're not machines, we're not AI. We're human beings, and things are going to come up that are going to make you miss certain quotas. You're going to have some days where you just don't get any art done. That is normal, that is natural, and the best thing you can do for yourself is to be at peace, to let it go, and to move forward as if nothing happened, and save that catch-up work for your weekends.
Is there anything you tell yourself when you're deep in the burnout pit that actually works?
Yes, and this goes back to what I was saying on the last question. If you don't have the brain power to be productive, you need to have the heart power to let it go and not punish yourself. Like I said before, I will take a day off if I need it, and any amount that I fell behind, I will just add that to the end of my week. If you're somebody that has school, you're going to school full-time or you're going to work full-time, and you have to miss a weekend day because of other commitments, we're not just sacrificing them for ourselves, we're sacrificing them for others in our lives who want to spend that time with us. So every once in a while, it's okay to say no to the comic and to go live your life and be a part of your family and be a part of your friend groups. Just make sure that when you come back to your comic and you are looking at like a 1-2 hour window on a Monday night, you're not going to catch up the panels you missed on Monday night. Just save it for the following weekend. It's okay to kick the can down the road in these ways. Just don't give up entirely. Save it for the following weekend. I definitely wanted to point this out. When you're taking your days off and you just absolutely don't have time to draw today, or I absolutely don't have the energy or willpower to draw today, you cannot beat yourself up about that. What works for me is to tell myself, I deserve this, or I need this. And by this, I mean time away from my project. I need this break. I deserve this break. Instead of going, I can't believe I didn't work on that, or I gave up all that free time, or I just sat there all day and did nothing when I could have been drawing. No. Don't do that to yourself. None of that is helpful. None of that is productive. Beating yourself up only holds you down. It's a very heavy burden, and it's gonna stress you out. So definitely tell yourself until you believe it, you deserve this break and you need this break. And there's nothing better that you could have done with this time than let yourself rest. Even if you have to schedule it in, because it is definitely a part of the process.
If you could give just one piece of advice to another creator struggling during this contest, what would it be?
My biggest piece of advice to anybody that's struggling during this contest is to connect with other creators. And you would be so surprised by how far that will take you. It is really important as human beings. We crave connection, and I think that we really need to feel understood. Maybe not by everybody, but at least by enough people that we feel seen and validated. And I think as creators, this goes for other types of creators too, I'm not trying to diminish them, but as a comic creator, it is so important to find other comic creators with that shared experience, the commitment, the effort, the difficulty of making a comic. When it comes to people who share your passion, they're going to be the ones who appreciate what you're creating the most, and it feels really good to have somebody really appreciate and understand what it is that you're doing. You might have readers, you might have friends, you might have family members who are like, oh cool, yeah, that looks nice. And they'll support your work, they'll follow and subscribe to your work, but they might not fully understand quite the level of consumption that Webtoon creation is in your life. And so connecting with other people who do get that, it's helpful. So check out social media. You know, there's hashtags that will lead you to other Webtoon creators. You can support and connect with them over their images that they're posting to promote their own comics. There's YouTube. Just like this channel, you can like and subscribe to this channel, talk to me in the comments section, hit me up in my live streams, or join my Discord. There's a link to the Discord, and there's different Discord groups that you can join and really be a part of a large-scale comic creating community.
What do you wish you knew before starting this contest?
This answer might be a little bit too raw, but I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I wish I had given myself a much longer waiting period before submitting. I waited 5 days, It opened on Monday, I posted on Friday. I really wish I had gone the full week, or if not 1 week, 2 weeks, to wait it out and not submit right away, to not be the first person to the front lines. Stand back and observe and learn through other people's experiences as best as you're able before you submit, so that you can avoid some of those pitfalls that you wouldn't otherwise know were going to be there. If you don't know what you don't know, stand back, observe, and then act.
What is Love Cursed Queen of Rogues about, and why are you making it?
Alright, so I have a very scripted answer for this one, so if you guys will forgive me, I'm going to read directly from the page. But Love Cursed Queen of Rogues is a steampunk romance about Caitlin Cogford, a noblewoman by day and the Queen of Rogues at night. She spent years keeping her two lives separate, but when the relentless army commander starts unraveling her secrets, she is forced to question everything, including the so-called love curse that's haunting her. I'm making this story because I love exploring characters who exist between worlds. I like people who don't fit neatly into one box or another, and Caitlin, my main character, has to navigate high society while secretly leading a thieves guild, all while wrestling with love, with trust, and with her own imposter syndrome, which is something I think most of us can relate to. Love Cursed Queen of Rogues, or LaCour for short, is a story about identity, survival, and the risks we take for love.
When you think about finishing and publishing your contest entry, what excites you the most?
What excites me the most about publishing my contest entry is actually not specific to the contest itself. It's actually specific to the creative process, making an idea tangible and giving it a sense of permanence in time. Before you create your comic, it's just this idea that maybe you talk about with somebody once in a while, but it vanishes the moment it leaves your lips. And there's no real object permanence. Creating your contest entry sort of like cements it in time as a real tangible thing, and that to me is the most interesting, the most rewarding, the most exciting part about making any of these webcomics. Love Cursed Queen of Rogues has been a concept in my mind since 2011, and I knew it was going to be something of scale. It wasn't going to be something simple that I could manage at my earlier skill levels. I am 10 years worth of excitement ready for this, and so happy to finally be making it. I hope you will check out Love Cursed Queen of Rogues and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe and like each chapter because you know it helps with the contest, and I really hope that this video has been insightful to you and helpful with your journey as a comic creator. If you would like to see more like this, subscribe here on YouTube. The last thing I would like to add is if you are looking for more videos to play in the background while you are working on your Webtoon entries, check out my live streams where we have talked about this contest and the comic creation process. See you there. Bye.